Welcome to Embedded C Programming Tutorial. This tutorial is developed by Deccan Robots, who is one of the leading company providing kits, boards, tools and programmers for learning embedded technology. This tutorial will prepare you for developing applications using C language for embedded devices. Embedded development is a combined task of working with real hardware and writing a suitable source code using a software. You have to deal with hardware like microcontrollers, sensors, driver circuits and various input-output devices. You should be a good programmer before you start working with the hardware. The software source code, which you will develop for your embedded devices, will control the functionality of the application. Thus your source code should be very much perfect in terms of logical algorithm and syntaxes. You can use assembly language or C language to develop embedded applications. Assembly language is preferred for simple applications, but for complex applications C language is the real solution. This tutorial is a combination of text, graphics and audio. Tutorial is designed in such a way that you can control its progress. You can listen to the audio repeatedly. You can view the graphics again and again. Let's begin your journey to learn programming, C language and embedded applications. While developing this tutorial, we have assumed that you are not totally new to the C language. Embedded C tutorial will refresh your knowledge of C programming and will teach you as how to use your C programming skills for developing embedded applications. A program is a set of instructions that are grouped together to accomplish a task or tasks. These set of instructions are written using languages like assembly, C, C++, Java, ASP, etc. You have to select the language according to your task requirement. For example, if you want to develop a web page, you will select HTML, ASP or Java to write set of instruction which will accomplish the task of making a web page. Similarly, if you want to develop an embedded application, you will select assembly or C language to write your instructions. You will also find people using language named BASIC to develop embedded applications. Now I have a question for you. Will the embedded device like microcontroller understands the languages like assembly, C or BASIC? Find its answer on the next screen. Look at the set of instruction. The task of the set of instruction is to print a temperature value to the LCD screen used in an embedded application. This set of instruction is written using C language. Microcontrollers or any embedded device cannot understand the set of instruction as it is. You have to convert it into a machine-level language. The converted machine-level language will look like as shown inside the box. You have to use a compiler to convert instruction written in the C language to the machine-understandable language. In this way, you require a compiler installed on your PC which will convert instructions written in C, assembly or BASIC languages to machine-level language. You will find compiler and other software on the CD provided along with the product you have purchased. You need not to search it now. This tutorial will ask you to do so when we enter into writing source code. C is a general-purpose, block-structured, procedural, imperative computer programming language developed in 1972 by Dennis Ritchie at the Bell Telephone Laboratories for use with the Unix operating system. It has since spread to many other platforms. We will use C language for embedded device development platform. Look at this sample program written in C language. This program has no inputs and no outputs as well. This program is used here simply to explain you about the structure and layout of the C program. This is a place where you can refer to ready-made stuff. Here in this example a file named io.h is located under AVR folder, which is included in this program so that we need not to rewrite it again every time. Main is the starting point for any C program. In other words, you should write the first line of source code inside the main function which you wish to execute as application starts. This line of source code declares a variable named a of data type int. Further screens will explain you about the data types and variables. Variable a has been assigned the value 10 using this line. This line return value 0 to the operating system and program terminates. You may now move further to understand these sections in detail. Semicolon indicates termination of the line. Curly brackets indicate scope of a function or module. You should follow these conventions while writing your program. Read these 3 lines. Notice that the values and text highlighted by blue color carries some information. This information is called as value in programming. These values are of different types. Here we have used an integer value 10, a floating point value 93.4 and a character value y. Thus, in other words, data type of these values are integer, float and character respectively. In C programming, you have to use various data types. Some of the commonly used data types are described here. Data type int is used to store integer values, for example 10, 234, 10,045. Data type float is used to store floating point values, for example 10.23, 234.35, 10,045.06. Data type char is used to store single character values, for example y, n, r. The C program demonstrates the declaration and usage of data types. By now you know how to declare a variable with a particular data type. Now here we will use the values using statements. A statement is a syntactic construction that performs an action when a program is executed. Statements can alter the value of variables, generate output, or process input. Observe the statements used to assign values and calculate the result. Expression statement, repetition statement, conditional execution and selection statements and special control statements are the types of statements available for C programming. Example of expression statement is r=10 or r=b or a simple function call like printf. Repetition statements are used for looping. That is, to execute certain action again and again for specific number of times or sometimes for endless operations. All software programs and embedded application has to perform actions based on certain input or other parameters. For example, in embedded application you may have to start a water pump motor if water level in overhead tank drops, or another example could be to start a cooling pump if temperature crosses certain set limit. In these examples, you are constantly checking the status of water level and temperature, comparing it with the set values and executing further actions if the values crosses their limits. To develop such applications, you should use conditional execution and selection statements. Special control statements are used to instruct the program as to proceed or stop or terminate the execution. We have used return